So, hello everyone. Welcome to this YouTube live session. In this session, we'll be exploring Numpy, which is basically short term for numerical Python. It's one of the most popular and powerful Python libraries for data science, numerical computation, and scientific programming. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced Python developer, this session will give you a complete overview of NumPy and its functionalities. So in this session, we'll go step by step, starting with the basics and moving towards some advanced topics. Okay. So basically, let's first know what is NumPy. NumPy is an open source library in Python that provide n-dimensional arrays and mathematical functions, and it is very fast and efficient. Simply put, NumPy makes working with numerical data faster and more convenient. So why to use NumPy? Basically for its speed. Operations in NumPy are faster than using traditional Python lists, and it can handle a large data set and complexion operation with ease. And it is very extensible, like forms the foundation for libraries like pandas, tensorflow, and scikit-learn. Okay, so let's not waste time, so let's jump into the code. So first we need to install the numpy library. So for that we need to write pip install numpy. So it will take some time, it will install the numpy library. So now it is installed. So it's installed now. So in order to we use the NumPy library, we need to import the library first. Okay. We can make it short form as NP. Okay. So first, we'll look into how to create an array with NumPy. So for that, uh, I'll assign a variable. So this will np.array function. It converts any list tuples or sequences into an NumPy array. Okay. So let's do that. And if we print the array, you can see, as you can see, we have created a one-dimensional array. Okay. So now, let's say if you want to create an array consisting of only zeros. Okay. So for that, I would write this basically defines the column and row. Okay. So if I do that and print the array, oh, sorry, I have to write zeros. So as you can see, there are two rows and three columns consisting of only zeros. Okay. Now, and if we want to create an array of consisting only of one, okay, The np.once method, it is used to create an array consisting of only one, and inside the parameter, you can mention the column and rows. So here we have mentioned the rows as 3 and columns as 4. So as you can see, we have created an array of consisting only of ones, which contains 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay. So let's say I want to create an array consisting of a single value for for certain columns and rows. For that, we need to write np dot full, and inside bracket we'll be mentioning the column names, the column and rows and columns basically. And after that, whatever value we give, it will create the array with only that value. So as you can see, the array only contains 8, which has 4 rows and 5 columns. Okay. And let's say I want to create an array uh, within a range. Okay. So let's see the code first and I'll explain it later. Uh, 0, uh, 10, 2. So 2 is basically a step size. Let me print the array and then you'll be able to see. So as you can see, we have created an one-dimensional array. Uh, just a minute. So yeah, so as you can see, we have created an one-dimensional array. The values start from 0 to 8. Why? Because we have set the step size to 2. So it will start from 0 and then 2 and then 4 and then 6 and then 8. So if we change the step size to 3, okay, as you can see, the step size is now set to 3. And if you want to change this, okay, next. So let's say we want to create a evenly spaced number between two values. Okay. So let's say we want to specify a certain range and we want to showcase some evenly spaced value between those two. So for that, let's say 5, 35, and how many values we want to create? Let's say 4. Okay, let's say 8. Okay. As you can see, I have given a odd, very strange uh, gap. So that's why you can see it has divided the space evenly with the value of 8 between 5 and 35. And if we change that to, let's say, some 5 to 30 and with the value of 6, as you can see, it has generated the desired value. Okay. Now, so now if we want to create an identity matrix, okay, so for that we use the np.I method. So whatever value we give, uh, it has generated an identity matrix of 4 columns and 4 rows. As you can see here, if we change that to something else, it will also work. say 6. Okay. So now, and now if we want to pick a random number from a certain range, okay, for that we use np.random. As you can see, it has generated random numbers between these range. But I mean, it has this is the value we specify as rows and columns. If I change that to 2 or 3, as you can see, it will generate. Sorry, it's a mistake. It will generate random numbers between 0 to 1, and the 2 and 3 here specifies the rows and columns. Okay. And for the random number, if we want to pick a random number between some, mm, okay, let's not go there. If we want to create an array of a specified columns and rows, and we want to select integers between certain range, okay, for that we use not this. Hmm. As you can see here, I have mentioned 3, 3 as the column and row, and 2 and 10 is the range. In between, it will generate some random integers between those range, and it will create an array. And if I change this row to column to something else, as you can see, there are now 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay. Okay. So now let's look into the array manipulation. Manipulation. Okay. Let's say we have created an array. Now what? Now if you want to perform some operation or we want to do some modification to that array, how would we do that? So for that, we'll look at the how to change the shape of an array first. Okay. So for that, we'll use in p.arange. Mm, not reshape. Okay. So whatever we value provide here, a range basically generates the numbers between these range, and reshape is a function to give the row and column. So if I change this to 4, okay. So as you can see here, the value the size of array is 9. Okay. So if I specify some different size, let's say 3 and 4. Okay, so there will be 12 values, but we have not provided sufficient values to fill in that array. So it will give us an error. So if I want to make the size as 3, 4, so I need to change that also. Okay, sorry, it will be 13. As you can see here, now the rows are, there are 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay. So basically, if I just write np.arrange, okay, what it will do, it will give me a one-dimensional array, and I want to change its shape, and I want to specify some rows and columns to it. Okay, so for that, I'll write something like this. Okay. It will change its shape without altering its data. Okay. Now if, let's say, we learned how to change one-dimensional array to a multi-dimensional array, and now we want to flatten a multi-dimensional array into one-dimensional array. Okay, so for that we will use um, let's say 1 comma 2 and 3 comma 4. Okay. So let's see first what it will give us. Okay, so it will give us an error because field elements must be of 2 or 3 tuples, got 3. Okay, so for that we need to flatten. Um, okay, so I should have given here and my mistake. Now, as you can see, it has flattened it. Okay. If sorry, we just, as you can see, if I just mention this and initialize it like this, it is a two-dimensional array. And if I want to convert this to a one-dimensional array, I can do like using flatten function. Okay. Now let's say if we want to concatenate arrays along an axis. Okay. So for that, I'll write the code first and I'll explain it after writing the code. Okay. Hmm. 3, 4. Sorry. Let's make it. Yeah. So if we want to concatenate these two arrays, we will write np dot concatenate a and b. As you can see, we have concatenated two arrays into a single one. Okay. So now, now if you want to just split an array to two or three or some sub arrays. Okay, so for that, let's create an array first. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have split the array into three parts, three equal parts. So for that, if I just change this 3 to 4, let's see what happens. It will give an error because there are 9 values. Okay, so we cannot divide that into 4 subarrays. So if you want to divide this into 4 subarrays, we have to give those many values which are divisible by 4. Okay, here as you can see, it has created the array into 4 subarrays. Now, let's say if you want to swap the access of an array, basically if you want to create transpose of an array. So for that, 3, 4 and okay, I have made another mistake, I guess. Yeah, I should have given here. Yeah, as you can see, it has swapped the access of an array. Okay, so now, so let's dive into some mathematical operations for NumPy. How do we use NumPy to do that? Okay, let's dive into that. So if I initialize an array of, let's say 1, 2, and another array, I'll create it as 3, 4, and I have to add the values of these two arrays. Okay, I will use the np.add function. Okay, so inside the function parameter, I have to mention the variables. So as you can see here, it has uh, added the values of those two arrays. Okay. Now, if I want to subtract them, okay, I'll just write np dot subtract. As you can see, 1 minus 3 is minus 2, 2 minus 4 is minus 2. Okay. Now, if you want to apply multiplication, let's say, okay. So for that, I'll just write np dot multiply AB and it will give me the result. As you can see, 1 into 3 is 3, 2 into 4 is 8. Now, if I want to divide, okay, sorry. Yeah, as you can see, it has divided the values. 1 by 3 is 0.333 and 2 by 4 is 0.5. Okay, now, Now, if I want to calculate an exponential value of some numbers, okay, so how do I do that? So let's say I have created an array uh, as okay, and I want to generate exponential of every values of that array. Okay, as you can see, it has given me the result. So now let's look into some statistical functions. Okay, so if I want to calculate the mean of this array, which I have already initialized array, so I won't this time. I'll just use the function to calculate the mean. Okay, so it will give me the mean of that array. As you can see, the array consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the mean of that array is 3. Okay. And if I want to check the median of that array, it will give me the median. Okay. As you can see, the median is, in this case, we have the same mean as well as the same median. And if I want to check the standard deviation of this array, and similarly, if I want to check the variance of that array. Okay. And quickly, we'll look at the how to calculate the minimum and maximum value of this array. As you can see, the minimum is 1, and we'll look at the maximum value. Okay. So now we have covered pretty much some basic stuff to how to get started with NumPy. Okay. So I'll just give you a short example of how to use array indexing. Okay. So I'll look at the basic indexing. We have initialized an array, and if you want to check the 0th index of this array, will give me the value. It works exactly how it works in Python. Okay. And if you want to check the slicing method, as you can see, it has neglected the first value because here we have set the first value to 1 and it will go till third. I mean second. Okay. Second index. So I think we have covered pretty much some stuff, and you have learned how to create arrays, perform mathematical operations, manipulate data, and compute some basic statistical values with NumPy. Okay, so these are very important to get started with NumPy. Okay, so this concept will form the backbone of your data science toolkit. Okay, guys. So thanks for joining, and make sure to practice this. Okay, so we can end the session now.